I'm Kim Edelston with FamilyBusiness.org, and today I'm here with Carl Beauregard, who was president and treasurer of his family's business, Beauregard Equipment, for over 25 years. His family's business sells farming and construction equipment throughout the Northeast in the United States. He recently sold the business to his brother, but before that, he worked side by side with his father, working his way up the chain of command in the business, and he also worked with three of his siblings, three brothers. So he has seen it all, and today he's going to be offering us some incredible advice on the importance of communication and how we can communicate better to keep our families happy and healthy and our businesses successful. Thank you for being with me today, Carl.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Kim. That was quite a nice introduction, by the way.
Thank you. So you have a lot to share, and let's get right into it. Communication is often seen as a key element in keeping family businesses healthy. What are some of the pitfalls you have witnessed?
Within my own business or other businesses I've seen, some of the pitfalls tend to be crossing over the lines of responsibility. I had one brother who was very good at handling the ordering of the products and negotiating. If one of us stepped over into that kind of became a little bit of an issue. Then with employees, key employees particularly, not listening to them. If they're a key employee, they're a key employee because they have good ideas, they understand the business. Make sure you listen to them. Don't announce a policy change to the full staff without, kind of getting that key employee in on the ground floor of that or having a discussion with them ahead of time. So those are sort of the more common pitfall things I used to come across.
So you mentioned growing up. I have to ask, particularly brothers in family business are known for some sibling rivalry and incredible competition. Did you have any of that? Did you have any of the brother rivalry?
I can't say it ever got to an unhealthy stage. I mean, no backstabbing, no doing things that were nefarious to one another. But it was a good competition that as time went on, we expanded the company and a couple of brothers operated other stores in other states, still the same company, but there was always a little competition. We got together like, hey, your store's doing this and yours is doing that, and mine's a little bigger and yours is a little stronger. And it was a positive, actually.
So I'm sure you had some hiccups too along the way. Any lessons you can learn about some of those missteps?
The example that comes to mind is there was a period of time, like there is in every business, things were going a little south, so to speak. Things were a little tight. Had to do some belt tightening, involved maybe some layoffs and some cutbacks and expense controls. So while you're doing that, make sure you don't pull into the yard and start bragging about your vacation or your new car or hey, my wife just got a new diamond ring. Those kind of things that leave those home if they're an issue, because it gives a very bad message to the employees. And unfortunately, we had a couple of those instances come along, and you have to do some damage control.
I love how you're really emphasizing the importance of communicating with non-family employees, because so many family businesses, unfortunately, they get criticized, right, for excluding them in important conversations. So what advice do you have for fostering communication with all employees and why it's so important, particularly for those who maybe are a little bit hesitant or don't know how to go about it?
We have a lot of service techs in our operation. That's probably the biggest single group of employees or service techs. They're not on a computer. They don't have emails. So they're easy to be outside of the communication link. So we spent as much as possible, we call it MBWA, management by walking around. Simply, when you're in the building, get out of your chair, go walk out to the shop, go out to the service techs, and have a conversation. What's going on? What do you see? What's it feel like? What do you like? Some of them will open up, and some of them are hesitant to, but at least give them the opportunity to talk, because they're the ones on the front line. They probably have as much, if not more, contact with your customers maybe than you do. So they're hearing from the customers. You need to hear what is being said.
So oftentimes families avoid difficult conversations because they think it's going to cause conflict. So what advice do you have, especially when maybe considering the next generation?
Don't wait because it won't resolve itself. It'll fester. In our case, there were 4 brothers. The next generation of cousins, there was at one point when all 4 of us were involved, there were 15 cousins. We said we need to get in front of what's going to happen with these cousins, because we can't have a situation where we load the company up with relatives and nephews and nieces and it crushes the company. And so we spent a fair amount of time and energy creating entry rules, I guess you could call them, the expectation of what was going to be in place for that next generation should they decide to come in. And
how did you go about creating these, the rules of entry and HR practices? Did you do it as a group of brothers, or did you have a board help you? Or
we did have, I think we went to our accounting firm and they had an HR person that helped us kind of facilitate the discussion so the 4 of us could discuss it and not have. And this gentleman helped us move it along.
So finally, you recently managed a buy-sell arrangement with your siblings as you retired from the business. For most families, this would be very sensitive. What are your words of wisdom?
Have a really strong buy-sell agreement in place, written agreement in place. Again, do it early. We became partners, official partners, bought our parents out, 1993. At that time, we had a strong buy and sell in place, day one. I've been through actually 3 buyout. We still negotiated at the terms, but we always had that agreement as a backstop. It was like, okay, if nothing else works, we know where we will go.
So thank you so much for being with me today, Carl Beauregard of Beauregard Equipment. This is Kim Edelston with familybusiness.org. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.